Hello everyone, welcome back to Ansarkari. So we are continuing with 2023 CSAT paper. So we'll starting with the second half of it. So question number 41. So what are the following assumptions which are valid? So I guess both of them should be incorrect and option should be D.
Option A.
A, one is correct. Global warming is causing spring to come early and for longer durations. Fine. Question 42. So most logical rational inference or the message. So I believe A should be right.
Option A.
Then we have another passage, question number 43. So again, identify the right message. So option C, that there is an impending issue of dealing with huge number of climate change victims or the refugees.
Option A.
A, climate justice should be ingrained in detail in the rules of all the new climate compacts. Okay. Question 44. So here it is stating that there's a principle which is symbolized as P becomes Q in 1 year when it is compounded half yearly, but we are given with the annual rate of interest that is R%. And second half stay the same principle P, it becomes Q in 1 year when it is compounded annually with S% annual rate of interest. So the relationship between R and S has to be identified. So in this case, if you see, we are just taking an example so as to understand how it works, what is the pattern. So if we assume that the principal amount is rupees 1000 and let's say interest rate is 10%, which is compounded at half yearly, but this is again, as the question states, it is given for 1 year time period. So because half yearly is compounded, so we'll divide this by 2, so it becomes 5%. So you can see here we are using 5% of 1000. So half yearly the amount will become 1050 and next compounded, so 1050 is compounded with 5%, so in total it will become 1100 2.5 rupees. And when it is compounded annually, so interest rate is same 10%, so it would be after 1 year, so 10% of 1000 would be 100, total amount would be 1100. So you can see, if let's say this is R which is given in the question and this is S%, which are the interest rates, so you can see clearly R would be 5% and S would be 10%. So S is greater than R. So that is the option C.
Option C.
In 45, we are given that how many natural numbers we have to identify and calculate how many natural numbers are there, which gives us remainder of 31 when this number 1186 is divided by these natural numbers. So it means if remainder 31 is left in the end, so we can say that 1186 minus 31, the number that we'll get will be completely divisible by the natural numbers. So how do we calculate this is, after subtracting, we say that 1155 will completely divide, or remainder would be 0 for the natural numbers that are to be calculated. So for this you calculate the factors, so you can take out the LCM and then you can make different combinations and you'll get all these numbers as factors of 1155. Now, because remainder is 31, so we need to take the numbers which are greater than 31 only in order to justify or fulfill the condition in the question. So the total 9 numbers which are greater than 31, and it would be, answer would be there 9 natural numbers. So option D.
Option D.
In this case, we are given with that PP, QQ, and RR. They're 2-digit numbers. This is a sequence, and we are given with this equation. After this, we have 2 statements. So the number of possible values of P is 5, and that for Q is 6. So I calculated, I'm getting that only statement 1 is right.
Option C.
C बोल रहे हैं ना, 2 का I have to see. The number of possible values of Q is 6. I'm getting 5 only. So we'll see to it. In question number 47, so the sum of all the 4-digit numbers, which is less than 2000, which is formed by these combination of these digits, you need to ensure it should be less than 2000 where none of the digits is repeated. So it means you can have such types of combinations ensuring all the numbers should be less than 2000. So you cannot have 2, 3, and 4 hair in the beginning. So it means we can only keep one hair because of this condition. Then you can arrange them in different sequence and patterns in order to get different numbers. And we have to calculate the sum of all these 4-digit numbers. So sum would be 7998.
Option A.
In 48, what is the number of selections of 10 consecutive things out of 12 things in a circle taken in clockwise direction? So you place total, there are 12 things. So we have placed 12 dots here. We have to move in clockwise direction, that is this way. And we have to select 10 items or selections at a time. So it means group of 10 has to be selected. So how many of them can be created? So because total we have 12, so we can create 12. You can see that if we are moving from this one, this dot, let's say, or we are starting from this. So you can see that 10 would stop here. Then next dot, it means if we start from the second dot here, we will have ending at the next successive dot compared to the previous group that we selected. So likewise, because we have 12 dots, we can see we can move forward in 12 such manners. So that is why 12 should be the right answer.
Option C.
Now, in this question, there's one very important detail that we need to pay attention to here in question number 49 is that it is stating that if today is Sunday, then which day is it exactly on 10th day, which is 10 to the power 10th day. Now, in this case, it is stating exactly on this day. If today is Sunday, if it would have been after, it would like asking us after 10th of the day, then we'll see that total. Firstly, we have to see always in such types of questions what are the odd number of days. So to calculate that, you simply divide this number with 7 because 1 week has 7 days, and whatever is going to be the remainder, that would be the number of odd days, and this reflects the total number of weeks which are there. So in this case, you can see that 4 odd days we are getting. Now you will be struck at either Thursday or Wednesday. Now for that, this becomes very important, the language of the question. If it would have been asking us after 10th of the day, the answer would have been Thursday because we'll not calculate Sunday then. So 4 days after Sunday would be calculated if this would have been the language. Because it is on 10th day, so Sunday would be included in these 4 odd days. So it means next 3 days after Sunday would be Wednesday.
Option A.
Okay. Here, 50th question, there are 3 traffic signals. Each signal change the color from green to red. So again, just types of questions you need to pay attention to the language also, what has been given to us and what is to be exactly calculated. So if you go ahead, you'll get 4:10 p.m. should be the right answer.
Option B.
Because here you have to firstly also pay attention to the conversion of the unit seconds into minutes and then hours and get to the right time. Now, in case of passage question 51, so here we to identify the logical rational message conveyed. So option D.
Option D.
Okay, in 52, again the message conveyed. So A, that's necessary to put proper effluent treatment protocols in place.
Option A.
Okay, in 53, what is reflecting the crux of the passage? So A, that to become a global power, India needs to invest in universal quality education.
Option A.
Then moving forward to question 54. So in this case, you are given with the, again, you need to understand firstly the question. This is, again, the questions are little tricky also to understand. So 40 children are there total standing in a circle, and one of them, let's say any child you label as child 1, has a ring. Now that ring is passed clockwise. So how it is being passed, so from child 1 to child 2, then from 2 to 4. So you can see gap is gradually increasing successively by one number. So there is a gap of 2, then gap of 3. So likewise, so that is why I have totaled these numbers. Now it is asking that after how many such changes will the ring be in the hands of child 1 again? means from where we actually started. So we are given with how many turns are given in the option. So 14, 15, 16, 17, you can just have a total, and you can make a group of, again, a total 40, because 40 children are there, and we started from child 1, which can be from any child, because we have to include all the children. So a group of 40 you can create, and then you can see that next 40, wherever you are getting it is stopping, you'll be seeing that it is after the 15th term.
Option B.
In question 55, so what is the middle term of the sequence which is given here? And in this, firstly, if you identify that in reverse manner we are going, so Z, there are 2 times Z, then Y becomes 3 times, X becomes 4 times. So likewise, you can see total alphabets that we have is 26, and have put in the numbers here in order to again just total and then get to the right middle term, which is, you can say, in a way we're calculating the average, so it should be I.
Option B.
Okay, in 56, so these types of questions have been, again, we are seeing them since 2023. So question is given and 2 statements are given, and then we have to identify, can we solve the question using both the statements, or can it be solved with using only one statement, or it cannot be solved with the given information. So in this is P greater than Q. So P into Q is greater than 0 is one statement, P square is greater than Q square is another. So for this, if we want to get the answer to this, I believe in this question, it can be answered using both the statements together, but not using either one of the statements alone.
Option D.
D, we cannot answer the question. Okay. In 57, the same pattern. So here, again, I've chosen option C. We can solve.
Option C.
Okay. In 58, so it's a type of a Venn diagram question. We're given with, again, the pattern is similar, but the way of solving can be using a Venn diagram. So given with this information, 75 are the number of people who drink or prefer tea, then 60 are drinking coffee, total 50 are drinking milk, and you can get to these numbers initially because we are given with this information. So 75 minus 15 will give us 60. 60 minus 15 would be 45. Now, because x is also part of this, so you can write this in the form of 45 minus x also. Now, we are given with this data. We have used this in the form of equation. We have written that. And we can get to the value of y. So y becomes 30. So x would be 20 because total, the circle represents 50 is the value. So A should be the right answer.
Option A.
Okay, then 59. So I have to see to this question that what should be the right answer. Although I have chosen D.
Option D.
D is right, but I have to again look into exact the process of calculation. Then 60, again, similar pattern. So for 5 children are there with their ages given, and 2 successive ages that differ by 2 years. Question is, what is the age of the youngest child A? So again, I believe we cannot solve or get to the answer.
Option B.
B option.
B.
Question can be answered by using either statement alone. Okay. Then passage, we have 61 questions. So the logical message should be option C.
Option D.
In our lives, having too few choices may not be a good thing, but having too many can be equally difficult. Okay, this was also one option, but we are influenced by the opinion of others and no courage to follow it. Okay. In 62, regarding the financialization, the household savings, which are the statements best reflect the solutions that are implied by the passage. So I guess only 1 and 2.
Option D.
Okay. But it is not directly talking about this. That is the problem. Okay. Next, we have to identify assumptions. So I think 1 and 4 are valid.
Option B.
Okay, then one more passage. So identify assumptions. Both should be correct.
Option C.
In 65, so here in an examination, the maximum marks for each of the 4 papers, which are named as P, Q, R, and S, is 100. maximum marks for each paper. So in each paper, maximum marks is 100. So the total can be 400. So marks scored by the students that in integers, student can score 99%. That is 99% of 400 is 396 in n different ways. So what are the number of ways that 99% score can be scored by the student? So you can, again, we have to place them like, if for example three papers may the child or student scoring 100 in one, he or she gets 96. That is one way. So that is why you just have to ensure ki, you have to reduce just 4 marks. Now what are the numbers of the patterns? So still here you can see that I'm getting 4 plus 6 10, then 20 and 25. I'm stopping at 25 because after 23 the only option is 35. So don't have to calculate all the patterns. Once you are confident that this should be the answer, you can mark as per the options.
Option D.
In 66, so we are given with that we have to make a flag. It has to be designed with 4 horizontal strips using some or all of the colors which are given as red, green and yellow. And what is the number of different ways in which this can be done so that no two adjacent strips, they have the same color. Now, if we start from the
Option
top,
C.
so option C here from the top, if we see that three colors, all of the three colors can be used here. But in the second one, you can see that since no two adjacent strips, they can have the same color. So we will reduce one color. If we assume, let's say top is assigned to the strip is having red color, second can have green and yellow. Now here again, the next one can also have two. If it, let's say here we have green color, here we have red, means we can have red and yellow here. So red can again come this place. So that is why two ways, two and three ways. When you multiply all of them, it will be 24. So in 67, I have to see, I was not able to solve this one. And 68, so there are 5 persons, PQRST, each one of whom has to be assigned one task. So neither P nor Q, they are given task 1, and task 2 must be assigned only to R and S. So again, how many ways can be assigned? Assignment can be done by the individual. So since we are given two conditions, so ensuring them, we can say that P can get task 3, 4 and 5. And if one of out of these three goes to P, so we are left with only two, which will go to Q. So 3 ways, 2 ways here. Now for RNS will, one of them will get task 2. So 2 ways here. Now out of the two options, one will go to R, will be left with two options again. So in the end, because this would be left, so there will be only one way. Now when you multiply these numbers, we'll get 24.
Option D.
Okay, in 69, this is interesting. So there are large number of silver coins. So these are the weight of each coins and the options that we have. Now, one option is saying that to buy 78 grams of coin, one must buy at least 7 coins. So you can just try to make a combination where we get a total of 78 and calculate the number of coins to be used. So we can use one coin weighing 50 grams, two coins can be used weighing 10 grams. So in this total, you can see 7 coins are to be used. We cannot use less than 7 coins. So since it is at least means minimum 7 are to be used. So this becomes correct. Second statement is to weigh, means we have to weigh 78 grams on a weighing balance. Using these coins, one can use less than 7 coins. So how can we weigh? For example, on one side of the weighing balance, we have this combination, which is 50 plus 25 plus 10, which will be totally 85 grams. Now we have to again put at this place points, so this will be reducing the overall weight of 85. So one will use 5 gram, one will use 2 grams, so as to again reach 78. So 85 minus 5 will be 80, 80 minus 2 will be 78 grams. So number of coins used are 5 here, which is less than 7. So both are correct.
Option C.
In 70, so symbolic representation on what does the score means is given, and again I've written that what it will imply in this form. Now statement is given, conclusion is given. On this basis, I believe both the conclusions, they follow from the statement.
Option B.
बी बोल रहा हूँ, ओनली कंक्लूजन टू फॉलोज फ्रॉम द स्टेटमेंट। इसमें Q इक्वल टू T हमें लेके आना है ना, तो इफ P इज इक्वल टू Q, Q P यहाँ पे T के इक्वल भी तो हो सकता है, इक्वल और लेस देन है, तो T को अगर हम यहाँ पुट करते हैं दिस प्लेस, तो Q इक्वल टू T भी हो सकता है, दैट इज वाई मेरे हिसाब से वैलिड होना चाहिए। चलो एनीवेज, द पैसेज, सो व्हाट डज द पैसेज इंटेंड्स, ऑप्शन बी।
ऑप्शन बी।
देन one more passage on science. So option A should be the right one.
ऑप्शन बी।
It is not desirable to have the governments managed by empirical statesmen unless well mixed with others who are grounded learning and reflect wisdom. Okay. Passage 3. So in 73, it is asking us, based on the above passage, which in the following terms best expresses the ultimate goal of the state? Be communal harmony.
ऑप्शन डी।
डी लिबर्टी कैसे हो सकते हैं, मैं पहले लिबर्टी लगाया था, बट if we have a look at the language जो पैसेज बोल रहा है in the second half, it is pointing towards communal harmony. लिबर्टी तो ठीक है, बट चलो कोई, अब कोई तरीका नहीं है इसको एग्जैक्टली सॉल्व करने का। What is the remainder if 2 to the power 192 is divided by 6? So यहाँ पे आप पैटर्न आइडेंटिफाई करोगे, there is one way of solving it. 2 to the power 1 divided by 6 will be 2. तो अब ग्रेजुअली पावर इंक्रीज करते जाओ, 192 तक आप सॉल्व नहीं करोगे, सो दैट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी आइडेंटिफाई द पैटर्न। सो यू कैन सी 2424 रिपीटेड, सो power which are odd we have the remainder as 2, for even powers we have 4. So because 192 is even, so remainder would be 4.
ऑप्शन डी।
In type of questions में you make a group of 4 and you can just directly put the options यहाँ पे and identify कि कोई sequence को pattern बन रहा है, तो यहाँ पे you can see कि A B C D follow हो रहा है, A B C D है, then A B C D, likewise C becomes valid.
ऑप्शन डी।
D
और
कैसे हो रहा
फिफ्थ
है, D?
वाला रिपीट हो रहा है, ए बी सी डी फिर डी
ओ
आएगा
हाँ,
फिर लास्ट सी
ठीक
सी
है ठीक
उस
है ठीक
तरह।
है, मैंने D इधर मैंने D लिखा है, पर यहाँ पे मैंने C लगा दिया है। It is D D C A, D D C A is this, ठीक है। Now moving further, 76, तो दो डिजिट कैसे नंबर्स हैं इनको मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं, we get D E F, then D E F में हम ऐड करते हैं G H I, तो we'll get 975, so this is the number। तो पहले आप सॉल्व करोगे ये वाला सम so as to get the value of D, तो D यहाँ पुट करोगे तो you can now just have a look कि ये numbers बचे, because non repetitive numbers है, distinct numbers हैं, तो ये numbers use करके यहाँ पे आपको A B C के लिए use करना है, D की value आपको यहाँ से मिल जाएगी, so you'll get A B C का sum will be 6।
ऑप्शन ए।
in 77, तो ये दो ट्रू स्टेटमेंट है, एक फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट हमें दे रखा है एंड दो कंक्लूजन्स दे रखे हैं, सो कौन सा वैलिड, आई थिंक दोनों गलत है।
ऑप्शन डी।
Then 78, PQRST, 5 statements such that, again दो ये वैलिड चीजें हैं एंड कंक्लूजन्स दे रखे हैं, तो आई थिंक यहाँ पे भी दोनों गलत हैं।
ऑप्शन ए।
A1 is correct. If T is true, then at least P or R must be false. At
क्यू
least P or
के
R.
ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा।
टी ट्रू होगा, बट ये तो क्वेश्चन में नहीं दे रखा ना, इसका रिवर्स ट्रू होगा नहीं होगा, जैसे आर और एस अगर ट्रू है तो टी फॉल्स है, बट अगर टी ट्रू है तो ये तो हम नहीं बोल सकते आर एंड एस भी फॉल्स होंगे, मतलब
आर एन
ऑपोजिट।
एक फॉल्स हो सकता है, हाँ वो सेम चीज उस वाले के ऊपर भी है, वो तो पी के ऊपर डिपेंड है ना, अगर पी ट्रू है तो क्यू भी ट्रू है उस अकॉर्डिंग, तो अगर क्यू ट्रू है, ट्रू जब भी होगा जब पी ट्रू होगा, तो सेकंड में
हाँ,
होना चाहिए।
नहीं
मैंने
नहीं,
दोनों
ये तो
लगाए थे इसलिए।
में आ गया क्योंकि P अगर ट्रू है तो बोल रहे Q और S दोनों ट्रू है, अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि Q ट्रू है तो इसका मतलब ये तभी हो सकता है जब P ट्रू है, तो ये तो आपने रिवर्स नहीं किया ना सिचुएशन, यहाँ सेकंड वाले में रिवर्स हो रहा है, वो बोल रहा है इफ T ट्रू, मतलब T अभी फॉल्स वाला हमें सिचुएशन दे रखा, अगर ये ट्रू होगा इसका मतलब एटलीस्ट P या R फॉल्स होना चाहिए, तो इसमें सिर्फ R है, यहाँ पे हमारे पास P है, तो हम कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि आर फॉल्स होगा अगर ये ट्रू हो गया तो।
बोलो, बोला होगा एटलीस्ट, तो कोई से कोई
हम्म,
प्रोग्राम है।
हाँ, थोड़ा रिस्क लेने वाली बात है इसमें। ये वाला आई वाजंट एबल टू सॉल्व 79 और 80 क्वेश्चन में बोल रहे हैं जो लेटर्स ऑफ द वर्ड इनकॉम्प्रिहेंसिबिलिटीज दे आर अरेंज्ड अल्फाबेटिकली रिवर्स ऑर्डर, so how many positions of the letters will remain unchanged? अब आई थिंक मैंने डायरेक्टली इसको रिवर्स लिखा है बट ये अल्फाबेटिकली रिवर्स बोल रहा है, तो अल्फाबेटिकली आपको रिवर्स करना था। सो इस बेसिस पे मैंने सिंपली इस वर्ड को रिवर्स लिख दिया, तो दैट इज द रॉन्ग वे आई बिलीव। इसका क्या सही आंसर आ रहा है दिव्या?
सी, मैंने भी सेम
क्या?
मिस्टेक की इसमें।
हाँ, ये अभी मैंने ध्यान दिया, इस पे अल्फाबेटिकली आपको रिवर्स करना है। ठीक है, टू आएगा फिर इसमें। बस यू हैव टू सी, जैसे यहाँ पे तो हमने डायरेक्टली वर्ड को रिवर्स लिखा है, तो कैन सी की एन और एन यहाँ पे दे आर कोइंसाइडिंग, तो एक और लेटर विच विल कोइंसाइड वो आप चेक कर सकते हो जब आप अल्फाबेटिकली इसको रिवर्स ऑर्डर में प्लॉट करोगे। So that's all for the day. Thank you so much everyone for joining us on Ansarkari.